Good morning, teacher. Good morning, students. Today we are going to talk about the role of translation in EFL, ESL classroom. This subject is a debatable issue because some authors don't agree about the use of translation. Some of them thought that translation used in bilingual classrooms are not a good issue. Approaches like the Wechsler in 1999 and showed that the purpose of new functional translation method using the student's native language to learn the target language in an EFL classroom was something not as good as they thought. This study is based on 6 points. The first is look the students, the use of translation in classrooms in various forms. Another point is to examine some studies offering few viable approaches to be used in the classroom. Number 3 is the section of examples of too much confidence when the students use translation. Number 4 is an alternative approaches and justifications to use this kind of approach. Number 5 is the techniques applying some of these approaches using translation to promote or improve the students' receptive skills and productive skills. And finally, the number 6 is the one section denotating the limitations and suggestions for using translation in classroom. The next part of this chapter is the literature background. Translation is used in bilingual immersions widely. That means in many American schools, this is one of the most used methods to teach foreign language. A report called Genesee in 1987 found that English speakers do well academically in immersion method. And that is particularly specific for Hispanic students who study another language, and using this method they gain experience and they gain knowledge about the target language. Collier in 1994 found that this was one of the most used methods when teachers use in high schools for translating and for students to acquire the language. There are two main formats when students want to use the translation method. The first method is called 50-50 and the second is called 90-10. The 50-50 method means that the students were under the influence of the translation method the half of the time. That means the 50% of the time they are using their target language, and the other 50% they are using the native language. The second method is called 90-10. This emphasizes the time spent on target language. That means the 90% of the time the students use the target language, and in that way they acquire the language. Finally, Ken in 1994 realized some interesting studies of translation, and he found that using translation method, some students gain cognitive skills and improve their acquire of the L2, the target language. In addition, they improve the reading comprehension process. Students use translation to understand the text. The students also use the source language to when they were processing the target language. Finally, another study called SILM and Edwards looked at the use of code switching in students when they were learning German. And they found that using code switching, although the students acquire the language, because in that way they understand what the language is telling about. Thank you, that's all for my part.
Okay. According to this article, there are 4 approaches for use translation in the classroom. Bilingual immersion is one, the second one is co-teaching, the third one is bilingual text, and the fourth one is the combination approach. Okay, I'm going to explain the bilingual immersion. This approach translates the whole class without in a special subject category, such as math, science, and social subjects. So students translate directly what they heard in L2. The note-taking here is an important issue in this approach. The second one is the co-teaching approach. Co-teaching approach is where there are 2 teachers, the teacher candidate and the cooperative teacher that working together with a group of students. So one of the teacher is the native and another one is the target instructor. So students here use both language, the native language and the target language. Code switching here is so common, but it is not a problem. Using a bilingual text approach, that is a third approach, is here there are useful resources for learners to acquire L2. For example, machine translate, dictionary, and textbook. Here, the use of bilingual text approach cuts down the time that learners may take in learning or acquire the second language, because they are involved in many resources that help them to acquire in easily way the L2. The combination approach is a mix of the approach mentioned before. For example, we can combine some approach that such as bilingual immersion with bilingual test, bilingual textbook, and co-teacher, and so on. In summary, in the conclusion, I can say that this approach are useful tools for teachers and learners to teach and acquire the language in easily way.
Okay, finally, I would like to explain some activities, some techniques that the author provides. Okay, that the author provides. Sorry. The first one is called Lost in the Translation. Okay, this activity is when the teacher in class form a group, form a circle using 10 students. Then the teacher provides 10 different sentences, obviously using the second language, and then after that the teacher asks the students to translate the sentence and pass to the other student. The idea is to show just their translated versions, and the other students needs to show the translated version and try to get an idea and translate what they understand. At the end, the teacher presents all the translations, and obviously they can create a discussion and get a final idea of the sentences in that case. And using this activity, the students can improve their vocabulary, and maybe they can also participate in consciousness activities. The other activity, the other maybe it's like a technique. It is called role plays with native language brainstorming. It's a technique where a set of English discussion phrases are usually pre-talked and practiced. In this activity, the students need to brainstorm but using L1. Then the students are able to maybe research some additional vocabulary or phrases that they can use in a discussion. Also, the teacher can provide some help. Then the teacher, using this technique, the teacher evaluates some aspects like presentation sequencing, word usage, grammar errors, and body language. Okay, using this technique, the students can gain useful vocabulary and also they can improve their speaking production. Okay, finally, we would like to say that translation can be used to take advantage of a student's natural ability to assume L2 using L1. You know, L1 facilitates students with the process of L2. Okay, that's all for